Hey there, we're gonna talk about raised beds today, and it's something I don't have a lot of experience with, but I got some Birdies raised beds, and we're gonna talk more about these, but I'm also gonna show you how we're gonna set them up and how we're gonna use them here in a little bit of a different way. But it's kind of a cool idea because there's a lot of places where, you know, home gardeners and people looking to grow food in small spaces and things like that, raised beds can be awesome. So I'm gonna show you specifically about this, but we're gonna build them, show you the design here, how we're gonna use them, and also fill them up with material and get them ready to be planted. All right, so why are we doing raised beds here at Staten Hill Farm? I have plenty of growing space, and that's totally true. One thing I love to try to incorporate are hedgerows whenever possible. I had great success with that at Raleigh City Farm, and I've been trying to get creative with that here at Staten Hill Farm. And we built that one hedgerow that hasn't been planted yet behind these two tunnels at the end, and that's still breaking down and getting ready. But I have another idea here, and we're gonna be using raised beds to plant hedgerows essentially, or to plant, you know, the plants that house beneficial insects, and those insects are the things that attack the pests in the garden area, so I want to get those beds as close as possible. So what we're going to do is we're going to put 3 sort of skinny raised beds along this edge here, and that will allow us to get a little bit closer there, and it also kind of, you know, fancy up this back area. This is kind of going to be the backyard area here, and fix up, as I showed in a previous video, with the you know, the greenhouse being gone, and so I want it to kind of look nice, and also try to formalize this little edge right here and try to just make it look cool. So what I'm going to do is we're going to show you these Birdies boxes, but before we do that, Birdies boxes are really cool, and the reason why I'm talking about them specifically is my friend Kevin at Epic Gardening, who hopefully you guys probably follow and know, sent these to me, and this is not a sponsored video, but here's Kevin to talk a little bit more about Birdies boxes.
Thanks, Josh. Yeah, Kevin from Epic Gardening here. Huge fan of these Birdies beds. I distribute them here in the USA. They are a 13-year-old Australian company. Actually, Birdies in Australia, they're the #1 metal garden bed in Australia. They were the original inventors of the bed. It's gonna last you at least 2 to 4 times as long as a wooden bed, especially with the price of wood right now. It actually ends up being cheaper than one made out of wood, especially these tall ones right here. So we got a lot of different sizes. These things have just changed the game for me. I can stand up, I can work in them really easily. I'm a huge fan, and I'm gonna toss it over back to Josh.
Well, thanks, Kevin. Birdies seem to be a really cool product, and you know, a lot of stuff we do on the farm here, we build a lot of stuff and make it really burly and stuff, and these are pretty well made, and I'll give you my opinion on them as we go along, but I just want to show you what they look like when you get them, how they set up, those kinds of things. And they're also very flexible because you can put them together in different shapes and sizes, and they come in different heights and all that kind of stuff. But what I opted for was long and skinny because I want to try to cover as much of the length of the tunnel as possible. So this is how they come. This is a box. This is the 8-in-1 kit, and pretty small, easy to ship, and they go together pretty quickly. So I want to show you how they come in the box. We'll take a look inside the box, and then we'll show you putting one together. And then eventually we'll set up the design here and prep the ground and then start building the beds. Well, as I said, we're gonna put 3 along the edge here, and so the first step is I just gotta mow it to get the grass as low as possible because we're gonna cover that up. I got that mowed down as low as possible. We're gonna be covering up a lot of the ground here, so that's just a good start. Another thing that's gonna be doubling with this project is trying to figure out how to manage this edge here. If you guys remember, we dug this out to create these ditches for the water to run off and down, but the problem is that, you know, where the edge of the dirt here just kind of falls off, and so we want to protect that edge. And also it's hard to maintain because I can't mow right to the edge. The the lawnmower will just fall off the edge, so I've been having to use a string trimmer and cut that back. So hopefully we're going to manage that a little bit more with this project, and I'm going to show you how that works too. All right, so let's do a little quick unboxing here. So this is what comes in the box. Pretty straightforward. So we got the corners here, 4 of them obviously, and then we got the straight pieces, and there's 2 different lengths here to make different designs, and the instructions have all the designs on them so you can do different shapes and sizes. And this is the single height one, but you can get them taller as well. And then nuts and bolts, and also this is a little piece of plastic to run along the top edge if you want to try to protect the sharp edge, but it doesn't feel that sharp to me. I don't know if we're going to use it or not, but yeah, that's what comes in it, and let's put one together. We already got one done, starting to put this one together here and show you how this works. So it comes with the corner, as I said, a long piece and a shorter piece, or a couple of each, and that way you can make the different designs based on the diagrams. And I don't know, they come with the like little plastic protection, which is very satisfying to peel off. So yeah, really nice finish. It looks really, really nice. So we're just gonna start putting these together here, and it's pretty simple. The pieces just fit together, and then use a nut and a bolt here, and just put it through the holes and tighten them up, and we'll show you how that goes together too. Let me show you how some of these panels go together. It's really simple. All the holes in here line up with the holes on the other pieces, and you just line them up, and you put the bolt in from one side, put the nut on there, and then I would probably go through and do them all before you tighten them all down. That way they make sure they're all straight. All right, well, it comes with the wrench that fits on the nuts, and make sure you put the bolt in from the outside. And then I'm just using a driver to tighten them up, and just hold the nut and then use the driver. You just want to be careful you don't over tighten it, because you can do that pretty easily. So put this on and then zip them all in, and just go down the line. Got the beds put together, and we also started working on this edge here. I really don't like using landscape fabric. I try to use as little as possible, but some of this stuff, I literally don't know another way to do it. One thing I was concerned about here, I mentioned before, was the mowing, but also that corner, I'm worried about it crumbling if someone steps on it and that sort of stuff. So this will protect it a little bit more. And we just took a 4-foot wide piece of landscape fabric, cut it in half lengthwise, and used that just to wrap it over the corner, and then overlaying it into the trough that's already there. This landscape fabric is from a company called Garden Armor. Not sponsored by them, but I'll leave a link down below if you want to check it out. It's what I've been using for all this stuff, and it's pretty solid. So this is good. We're gonna move in the boxes and sort of space them out and see what works best. We got these beds in, and they're just kind of spaced out equally, which I think will look cool. We're gonna add wood chips between them, against and along the edge, and then in front of them here, and create one line. So when I come through and mow, I can just mow right along that line, and hopefully won't have to get the string trimmer out. At least that's the goal. Let's talk about building these beds, and you can use all sorts of material to build them. It does turn out to be quite a lot, so it can get very expensive. You can buy like raised bed mix, you can buy it in stores, but again, this would be a lot of material that you need to buy, so it could get pricey. But if you're looking for a quick way to do it, that'll do it for sure. We're gonna do this basically for free. So again, use what you have around and whatever you can get your hands on cheap or free. We got cardboard down first. Building this bed is kind of similar to building other beds. You kind of layer it like a lasagna bed. So the cardboard's down there as a weed barrier, which will break down and provide worm food, but also suppress the grass and kill that. We're gonna put in a bunch of leaves. Leaves are awesome, huge amount of carbon. They break down, worms love them, really good for building soil. When I built my lasagna beds in the tunnels here, it was 50% leaf mold and 50% compost. So you run a lot of organic material, and this will definitely provide that. So we'll layer this in, and then we have some homemade compost that's mostly finished, and it will continue breaking down. And it's cool because it's free. And then I have a little bit of old compost from 2 years ago, commercial compost, that I'm trying to get rid of this pile, and it's almost gone. And we use some to build the hedgerow, but we're gonna use some of that too. And we're just gonna layer it up, and don't stress about all the stuff. Just get it filled up, and you should be in pretty good shape. So we got it all filled up, and it was pretty simple. And don't be afraid to fill it up pretty high, because the leaves and a lot of stuff will break down and it'll sink down quite a bit. So, and if you need to add more, you can always add more. And again, don't freak out about what exactly to add in here. It'll be fine. This is what we did for free because it was stuff we had, and I think anything you do for cheap, I think, is good. And you had a great start. You got an instant bed and filled up pretty quickly. We have the materials ready. We're gonna do the other two the same way and get the wood chipping done, but we're kind of out of time today. We got a few other things to do. This didn't take us all day. We had some other things going on, but just in terms of overall time. Like I said, we'll get to finishing up this project tomorrow. All right, so it's actually a couple days later. This week's been crazy. The farm business is really picking up, and yeah, just been super busy. But we did get this done and it looks awesome, and big thanks to Gene for helping out with this. I just had all the stuff to do with the farm with harvesting and delivering and all that stuff. So Gene helped out big time. But this is done. All the raised beds are filled up and we got the wood chips here, and this is sort of a border between, as I said, the yard and the farm, and I think it's gonna look really nice, especially after we get some stuff planted in here. But overall, I'm really happy with this. Let me talk a little bit more about the beds in particular. So as I said, I don't have a ton of experience with raised beds, but they can be super cool in a lot of situations, especially in smaller areas like backyards, patios, maybe some urban areas, and you get growing right away, and that's really, really cool. You might be thinking you could probably DIY this with some sheet metal, or maybe you get one of those feed trough type things. You can definitely, and these are probably, the Birdies boxes are a little bit pricier, but I have to say they show up in a little box. You don't have to try to move them. They also don't have a bottom, so you don't have to worry about cutting that out or anything like that. And they just show up and you put it together in a few minutes and you're ready to go. And the other thing I like about these Birdies boxes is they look really cool. They come in different colors. You can reconfigure them in different shapes if you want to, and they also sell taller ones. So it's kind of whatever you want, and I think that's really cool. And I think also, and I've talked about this before, about buying kits like the tunnels behind me here. I'm really busy, and I know a lot of you guys are too, and sometimes it's really nice to get a kit and just put it together and not have to think about all the little things, and you know it'll just work. So I think that's definitely what's going on with these boxes. And again, this is not a paid sponsorship from Birdies or from Epic Gardening. Kevin did send me these boxes to try out, and I will keep you guys posted and see how I like them. I will be planting stuff in here soon, and I'll update you. But so far, I'm really happy with it. And I think also the Birdies boxes could be really cool, like if you had a farm store and you had customers coming through, because they just look really nice. And as I said, there's colors and stuff and you get it to match. I just got these like dark gray ones, which I like a lot. So anyways, I'll leave links down below for the Birdies boxes and all of Kevin's social media stuff. He's an incredible content creator providing great gardening information. So go check that out. And I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit subscribe if you're not already, and we'll see you in the next one.